This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can write two kind of servers. So generally Node would be used for these HTTP servers. So
Okay.
okay, let's see a very basic example how we can write a HTTP server. Okay. So are you able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So before that, I'll tell you about something on the basic setup. First of all, you need to download Node.js. I have already downloaded Node.js through this website.
Mm-hmm. NPM and Node.js. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yes, no need for NPM. Actually, NPM is Node Package Manager. I'll tell
Oh,
you about the NPM. There is a
oh,
difference between NPM and Node.js. Node.js is a framework, as we discussed, that was written over V8 and libuv.
yeah.
NPM is something called a package manager. So
Oh,
for the package manager in the sense, here package in the sense some modules. Anyone can return a package like you or me. If you are good at JavaScript, we can give some concept, for example, like calculator or something, and we can run the package and we can deploy onto the npm server. Npm is an open source server. You can create your account, you can deploy it there. So whenever you are downloading and installing the node.js, and automatically a plugin would be added with that, that is called the npm. So that will directly connect it to the npm servers and it will take that modules. If you just using some commands, for example npm install some package, means that some package would be installed to your node.js. So
yeah.
you don't need to write your own code. You can use
Yeah.
some packages.
Yes.
Okay, that
Mm-hmm.
is called the npm. So
Okay.
npm has its own website. You can see here, npmjs.com. Here you can find so many packages. For example, if you write file, there will be so many files, file loader, file size. Everything
Yeah.
would be written by different peoples. You can access everything through npm install command. That would be automatically installed to your project and you can use that. Okay. And I have already downloaded that node.js here and I have installed that. So once you install node.js, you can open something called here node.js command prompt. Okay, this is called REPL command prompt. REPL in the sense REPL, read, evaluate, print, and loop. Okay, this is a simple command prompt that is directly connected with node.js. So you can type commands here, or you can run a small piece of node.js script here. And how to start is you have to type node.
Mm-hmm.
So now the command prompt is enabled. For example, if we give 3 plus 3 equal to 6, so
Oh,
it will execute the things
okay.
generally. And JavaScript, right? Basics. We can
Yeah.
create an array. How can a equal to it's a declaration of array, right?
Yeah.
So now I have declared an array. Now I want to see that what other methods are available in that array. I'm using a dot double tap. You can see all the
Yes.
methods that would be used with this array.
Yes.
Correct. A dot concat fill include, these are the default methods that are coming with this array.
Yeah.
Generally these would be used in browser level also. So how we are seeing here is the same V8 engine is used in Node.js also. If something is available there in the browser, in the Chrome, that would be available in Node.js also. This is how that is connected with JavaScript and
Oh.
TypeScript.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So likewise, in this REPL command prompt, you can ask anything about the Node.js. For example, we have something called process. Whenever you are installing a new server, there would be an object called process. That is a single thread, I told, right? So a single thread is called a process. So you can see here, if you type the process, it will show you all the entries in the process. We can see these things later deeply. I'm just giving an overview of these things. Okay. Likewise, we have something called global. If you type global means that will give you all the objects in the global. So likewise, in this ripple command, you can execute everything and you can see what are the things out there in Node.js. So this is the command prompt that is directly connected with Node.js. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now let me show you how to write a simple server. See, here I have written a very simple basic program for Node.js. So the first step is I have installed the Node.js and
Mm-hmm.
again I am opening some text editor. The first line is require HTTP.
Mm-hmm.
So as I told, we are going to create a HTTP server here. Okay,
Yeah.
using this require command, the HTTP would be required and dot create server. Okay, and inside the dot create server, we are passing one method,
Okay.
and we have two parameters here: request and response. As
Yes.
I told, the very first event is the request. So this is a way for creating a HTTP server. So now what I'm doing is I'm creating one server, and that is deployed in my local machine itself. Okay.
Okay.
So and that server is listening on the port number 8081.
One. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the first event is the request. So whenever a new request is coming into this, the server would be automatically triggered, and that would be handed over to the callbacks. Okay, you understand this code snippet, right? I create server, and what I'm trying to do here is you can use for multiple routes. So if it is if the URL from the request is slash home, you can do something. If it is something called slash contact, you can do something else here.
Okay.
It's a just basic example, so I'm just giving a console. I mean, just the data would be printed. So now what I'm doing is I'm just saving this file. I'm going into this particular directory. You can see that the test.js. Okay, I'm opening command prompt here. I'm running that file node test.js. So now the server is ready. Okay. So
Okay.
this is the way to run a node file. That is,
Yeah.
you need to save the JavaScript code in a file, and that
Mm.
with the extension of .js, and you should run with node space the file name.
Yeah.
Then that file would be run as a node.js file.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inside that file, we have written a server. I mean, we are trying to create a HTTP server, and that server is listening on the port of 8081.
Yeah.
Okay. So now from the browser, I'm trying to hit 8081. You can see nothing is loaded. Okay.
Mm.
Because we have written two if conditions here. If URL is slash home, we are responding back. If URL is slash contact, we are responding back. But we're not given slash home or slash contact. We have just given slash. So
Okay.
there is the response is not went back, but the request came inside. You can see here. Okay, the server is ready. So now I'm trying to give slash home. You can see I'm displaying home. You got
Yeah.
it right? How it works. And if you're
Yeah.
giving slash contact, it will, I'm displaying contact. Okay. Suppose
Yeah.
if I'm giving nothing means you can use some else conditions here, and response dot home page. So here you can see I'm in home page. Now I have given nothing.
Yeah.
You got it? And I'm giving some route that is not defined also. That's also coming to home page.
Yeah.
You got it right. Now the browser is directly connected with our node server. And it is works based on the requests how we have written. Do you have any doubt till this?
No. So response.end and console.log works the same way, like to print something?
No. Actually, console.log is for printing something, just logging.
Yeah.
Response.end in the sense whenever a new request, I mean, whenever I'm hitting that browser, if in the
Okay.
browsers you can do something. This is a
Yeah.
browser, right? It's a Chrome browser.
Yeah.
I'm clicking on the F12 button, that is inspect button. This is called a browser developer console. Okay, this window you can see, right? Some
Yeah.
comments. This is called developer console. In the network, you can see what are the request calls are going to the server. In the XHR, you can see. Suppose if I'm hitting this and a new request is registered here, you can see. See, there is a call here. Here the root name is ASDDDD something. Okay, so this call is when going to the server and the status is 200. That is the response pack is 200. By
Oh,
clicking on this, you can see the response. I'm home page,
yeah.
and in the headers you can see the server details where I'm hitting. My server is in the local host with the port number 8081, and this is my root details. I made a get call and I got the response. Okay, these details are showing in the browser level. So in the browser you are making a request. So whenever you are getting a request to the server, the console.log is just for printing something. You can use anywhere. But here there are two things, request and response. So if you get some request, you should respond back to the browser. Otherwise, it won't reach to the browser and it will still keep on loading. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you give a response.end means you can add so many things in the response. But here we are just adding only one line. So we are directly giving to the response.end. Otherwise, we'll add the response.header. You can see something here.
Yeah.
Response.write head.
Yeah.
So we can say the content type as text plain, or it may be a JSON. We can specify the content types, and at the end we will specify as response.end. Response.end in the sense a node will know that okay, they have already written the response. We are ready to send it back to the browser. If you are not
Okay.
giving this response.end, the request will be coming to the node server, but there is no response going back to the browser, and the browser will be keep on loading. Got it?
Yeah.
What is the difference between response end and console.log? Console.log is just a logging. If that method is called, that would be showing that it is logged.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And
Yeah.
so, do you have any doubt till this?
No.
No. Okay. So, and this is the basic server architecture for Node.js. But generally, in the real-time applications, we won't directly use Node.js like this, because you can see that we are getting requests and we are checking URLs, and because in real-time application we won't just display like this, right? A single line of display. We
Yeah.
will we are going to display a very big UI page, or we'll send response in a JSON format. So generally we will write with some frameworks. Okay. So generally Node.js would be written with a framework called Express. Do you
Ex-
hear anything about Express?
No.
No. Okay. Express is a framework. So what is the difference between Node.js? Node.js is actually the core language that is used for writing servers, everything. And the Express is a framework that is written on the Node.js. We can install through that npm modules, as we
Oh,
discussed. You
yeah.
can see here Express. See. So so it's a framework for Node.js.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So generally we will use, there are some other frameworks like Loopback and Happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Express is one of the famous framework that is mostly used by Node.js. Here
Okay.
you can see an piece of example. So the same way they have written one Node.js server, but they have written not as we wrote the Node code. They are writing something called require express, and they are making us an app, and they are directly using app.get slash, and the same way request and response are passed as the parameters, and instead of response.end, they are using response.send here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
app.listen. It's
Yeah.
just a piece of example that is given by the express. Okay,
Okay.
now we will see how in the real time how we are generally people use Express with Node.js. Okay, so there is something called Express generator.
Spread generator.
Yes, so the use of Express generator is it's a plugin.
Okay.
Okay, if you had a chance in the to see the real-time applications that won't have a single page, that is, they won't write the entire code in a single page of application. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there would be something called the modules and the utilities and the controllers. There is a pattern called the MVC, that is model view controller pattern.
Oh
Okay,
yes.
in
I
that
know
there would be a
the
layer.
Angular one, right?
y- yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay, you know
Yes.
basics of Angular, right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, I
Yes.
have
Okay,
used
you can.
one and .NET. So.
Oh, okay, okay, fine, fine. So you know that the MVC architecture, that would be a controller, and
Yeah.
we will write a business logic on the services,
Yeah.
and that will again interact with the backend services, and that will give the data to the controller. The controller will be directly interacting with you, correct?
Yeah.
So in the same way, we can write servers also. First,
Okay.
the controllers will be directly interact with the request calls, and the
Mhm.
second layer is the service layer. Service layer will write business logic, all the business logic, and third layer is utilities. If you
Mhm.
are using some common methods, everything will come under these utilities, and the fourth layer is that is directly connecting with databases.
Yeah.
How, I mean, there are so many databases like MongoDB, CouchDB, NoSQL DBs, and
Mhm.
you can write SQL DB, Oracle. That can be anything. But the fourth layer, they will connect with the databases. This is how a real-time application would be working.
Mhm.
Controllers and the services and the databases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for making such application, and we need to create application structure, right? Code base. For that, instead of making folder by folder, file by file, Express itself given one tool called Express Generator.
Okay.
Using this, you can create a base code structure.
Okay.
Now we'll see how can we create that base code structure using this Express Generator. Okay. So there are some simple commands: npm install Express Generator. So here, what does that mean is npm install Express Generator. So as I explained, are you clear with npm, right? What is the npm? Node Package Manager.
Yes.
Okay, it's just a package manager, and we can install our packages. Here we
Yeah.
are going to install a package called Express Generator,
Okay. Yes.
and we are using this command. -g means we are going to install that globally. So if you install once, that would be accessed by all the folders in the system.
Yes.
Okay, so going to my desktop. I'm creating a new folder called my node app. Okay, inside I'm opening command prompt. Here I'm using npm install generator -g. So whenever you are running npm install, you should run inside a particular folder. So that would be installed inside that particular folder. Okay. Now Express generator is installed. Now we are going to run that Express generator. You can see the versions here. So you can see by using this command express view now by default the express is giving pug as the view in the sense as you know that AngularJS the HTML package which is the rendering engine. Here it is using pug. We can change to HTML in future also, and I'm naming as my app as per my app. So this is creating basic architecture of that code flow. Yeah, these are the folders that is created: pug, bin, app.js, package.json, roots, and the public folders. Everything would be created by generator itself. So now we are going into the folder. Inside node app, you can see that a pug is a folder. So you can see the structure. We are okay. Let's open the structure. Okay. Now the Express generator have generated a basic code base for us. Here you can see several things: package.json, app.js, and a folder called views, and a folder called roots, and a folder called public, and another folder is bin. Bin contains www.
Okay.
I'll explain you these things.
Okay.
So first, okay, I'll first explain you the bin folder. Inside bin we have something called www, right? This is called a server file. So in the previous example we were writing a node server using dot create server and dot listen everything. So that is the basic code structure for creating a server, right? Here they will be creating a server using express. You can see inside that app.js, you can see they are requiring the express and they are making as an app. And here they are using HTTP server. They require HTTP dot create server, and they are directly passing that app to this create server, and they will listen the server at the end. Dot listen port number. So the same code is written in a fancy way.
Okay.
Okay, I'll explain you line by line. So
Yes.
first, okay, first line is require, right? So do you know anything about require? No.
It's
You know.
I
Yeah.
mean module.
Yes, correct. In Java, we used to import, right?
Yeah.
Importing packages. Like in the same way, we can write everything as modules. So we
Yes.
can import one module from one file to another file. That
Yes.
is, so require is used here. And here we are going to require app. App is placed outside of. So now this file is this triple W is placed inside bin,
Bin.
and app is out. App is in the root folder, right? In the
Yes.
common folder. So
Yes.
we are using dot slash slash app. Okay. If
Mhm.
you are using as simply dot slash app means that will search in the same folder.
Yes.
If you're using double slash means that will search. I mean that will come out of one folder and that will search in out of the app.js.
Yes.
So now it we are requiring app.js.
Mhm.
So it will directly go to this app.js. It will load this entire content. Again coming back here, that will set on the app. In the same way, require debug. Debug is a module for debugging. Okay, that we'll say later. And require HTTP. This
Yes.
is and you can see here for the app we use a dot slash, but for HTTP we didn't use anything. You know why?
It's a global thing.
No, there are two kind of modules. One
Okay.
is some module that is already packed with the Node.js. Another one is the modules written. We are downloading from npm. The third is we are our own files. Okay.
Okay.
So generally
Mhm.
modules are outside modules, and another one is Node.js own modules. HTTP is a
Mhm.
Node.js own module. We have so many modules for Node.js. If you go to the Node.js site in the docs, you can see. See, here you can see, right? All these are the Node.js own modules. That is, whenever you are installing the Node.js package itself, they are presenting for you. They will write the
Okay.
code, and so for importing the Node.js own module, you don't need to specify anything. You can directly require HTTP that will import the HTTP. See, this is a module, and the file you can see file system FS is a module for writing and reading files. We'll see these things later. Events, everything here you can see, right? Everything is a module. That is Node.js one module. Okay.
Yes.
So you understand there are two kind of modules. One is Node.js one module and the other side modules.
Custom. Yes.
Okay. So for Node.js one module, we don't need to prepend anything here. So we are just requiring HTTP, and
Mhm.
using the HTTP, we are creating server dot create server. And what we are doing is we are passing that required app into this create server. So now that our application is directly connected with the server here. Okay.
Mhm.
And that server is
Yes.
listening to port dot port.
Yeah.
Here you can directly set 8081 or some port. Otherwise, here what they are using is they are using some set. These things are packed with the Express and not with Node.js. I mean app.set. So
Okay.
in app, if you are setting something called app.set means you are setting these things globally for the application.
Okay.
I'm setting port number here in the name of port. So I'm using that port here. So it will listen the port.
So that
Suppose,
is right.
hmm,
3,000.
yes, here it is 3000. That is the default value. If you want, you can change.
Okay.
By default, it will take from process.env.port. So here, what is the process is, I told you, right? Whenever you are starting a Node.js server, a single thread would be started. That is called the process. You can set so many values in the process and you can use that. So mostly we are using, I mean, one of the most used values environment.
Environment. Okay.
Environment. You can now we are setting port value and environment. Other than we'll set, for example, thing as a developer, you would have known that there are we'll use generally development environment, stage environment, prod environment, right? We will
Mm-hmm.
deploy the same code on the different environments. So if
Yes.
you, yeah, based on the environment, whenever you are starting the server itself, we'll specify the environment. If it is dev, we will give some command called hyphen hyphen env equal to development. So the code behaves like an dev code. If you're deploying the same code on the stage, we will be giving environment as stage. So these details will be there in process.environment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we are listening on the port, and we have some code also, okay, like for errors and listening. This is server dot on error. So whenever you are creating a server, if you are facing some error, that would be moved to this handler. Okay. So this is called event-driven architecture. Server.on. Here error is an event, and we are writing one handler that is on error.
Yes.
Handler is a method.
Yes. Yes.
So whenever some error is coming, this handler would be called here, and this error would be passed into this method, and the content of this would be executed. So we will be showing that error. And server.on listening means whenever you are starting that server, we are going to this method on listening method, and we will show that in the debugger or in the console. So
Mm-hmm.
in this file we are writing a basic server. Generally a production server would be like this, similar to this.
Okay.
I mean, this architecture is generated by Express framework. So here we have reduced so many manual works for creating node server, for handling routes, for handling port numbers, everything. Everything is generated for us by the Express itself. You got it? Why we are
Yes.
going for frameworks other than Node.js.
Yes.
Okay. So okay, Priyanka, I think today we have gone through so many things.
Okay.
I don't want to overload you today.
Yes. Yes. No
You
problem.
just have a look onto that. We can see the remaining things later. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And if you have, do you have any questions here or anything, any doubts, you can ask me. I'll explain you
Yeah,
back again.
I'm good. I mean, I had a little bit like server creation and all knowledge with Node. So till
Okay.
here,
Okay. Okay. So whenever you have time, you can just use this Express generator. You can, by
yeah.
Googling itself, you can find the commands, create
Yeah.
one folder, use that Express generator, the step-by-step commands. This structure will be created for you. I'll give
Okay.
overview of this structure also, then you can roam by yourself.
Okay.
So we have seen the bin folder, right? www. This is the server file,
Yeah.
and a common file is called app.js. This is a common application file. Okay, here we used to
Okay.
write the routes. In the test file, we wrote something like slash home and slash contact, right? Okay,
Yes.
like that we are using here slash and slash users. So
Okay.
we are handling routes here. So this
Okay.
is the first level. Whenever you are starting a server, and whenever a browser is making a request to the application, this app would be loaded and the server would be loaded, and everything handed over to this router. This is a handler. If slash user is coming from the UI, and this will hand over to the users.router. Again, that users.router is coming from routes and users. Okay, inside the users, you can see something called root.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just giving a brief explanation. I'll give
Yes.
you a deep explanation later, okay? Just
Yeah.
for your understanding, I'm giving. And there is something called package.json. Here you can install all the dependencies. If you are using some npm command, npm install something means that would be installed here. You can see the dependencies, the express that is installed through package, debug, cookie parser, everything. Okay.
Okay.
And views is for you can save HTML templates here, because for example, if you're typing google.com in the browser, that the request will be going to some server, and that server is rendering you back that google.com page, right? That first search engine page. Likewise, you can put your HTMLs inside the views, and you can render that back. Here the public, you can see images, JavaScripts and styles that would be used by front end. As an AngularJS developer, you may know this JavaScript styles images,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So simply, generally AngularJS developers will write their code, they will build, and they will put their code into this public folder. So whenever you are starting the server, this public folder would be rendered from the server to the browser. You got it?
Yes.
Okay, you got the overview, right? If you have
Yeah.
any question, you can ask me.
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, fine. Fine, Priyanka. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
See you later. Yeah, bye bye. वाह मुझे दीजिए। तू कौन सी